Now at 5, the latest on a bomb explosion in a dumpster outside the Labette County Judicial Center.
Some Republicans want the FBI and DOJ to be investigated after former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home was searched. But some Democrats say that the former president put the country's national interest in danger. I'm Deborah Alfarone on Capitol Hill with what comes next.
And the findings of a new study on bicycle safety and kids.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities make an arrest following an explosion in Parsons, Kansas. This is KOAM News at 5. Investigators say a bomb exploded just before 5 this morning in a dumpster in a parking lot outside the Labette County Judicial Center in Parsons. There are no reports of injuries. The Labette County Sheriff says the suspect was identified through surveillance video from the parking lot. He is now in custody. Investigators have been searching for debris.
We've tracked down most of the debris. A lot of the debris went about a block from here and went through one of the windows.
The Kansas Bureau of Investigation, ATF, Bomb Squad, and FBI are all investigating that situation. Residents of a Neosho, Missouri home today escaped an early morning fire. Crews were called to a home at 712 West Spring Street where the home was fully engulfed when they got there. Officers at the scene say everyone made it out of the home safely and no one was hurt. Authorities say a 3-year-old girl who was found unresponsive in a hot vehicle in Carthage on Friday has died. Police say the child died at a Springfield hospital over the weekend. Officers last Friday responded to a home on the 100 block of North Maple in Carthage. They aren't giving many details about the case, but they say that investigation is continuing. According to Lending Tree, nearly 23% of Missouri businesses close within their first year of opening, which is above the national average. Foo Noodle House in Joplin was on the brink of closing its doors until they took to Facebook talking about their struggles. The post prompted 80,000 interactions and led to community support that has helped keep that restaurant open.
Being a business owner, we get a lot of people from Joplin, from Webb City, Carthage, and it just felt like I needed to come and support them. This is my second time coming here.
We're going to hear from the head chef and owner of Foo Noodle House tonight at 6. Let's check in with Doug now for our first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be another hot one for us today. 22nd day this summer that we have hit 100 degrees, which is kind of crazy, but we do have some rain chances in the forecast as we go through the next couple days. In fact, we got one little guy that is popping up eastern parts of Jasper County, and we are going to get a few isolated thunderstorms, mainly on the Missouri side as we go through the next few hours. But I think most of our better rain chances are going to hold off until tomorrow afternoon. Most of the rain tonight is going to be confined to our north along the I-70 corridor. Look at these temps, upper 90s, 103 in Chanute, 102 in Neodesha. Iola is sitting at 100 degrees. These isolated little guys the next couple hours, and then things will calm down, and then it looks like we'll be pretty quiet through the overnight hours. But additional rain chances, we're going to look at that here in a bit.
See you then. With midterm elections 84 days away, House Republicans anticipate they're going to be in control of the chamber next year, and they're already taking steps to launch investigations into the Department of Justice, FBI, and the Biden administration over the search of former President Donald Trump's Florida home. Deborah Alfarone has details from Capitol Hill.
House Republicans on the Judiciary Committee, angry over the FBI search of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, have sent letters to the heads of the DOJ, FBI, and White House Chief of Staff, asking that they preserve all records related to the search. In them, they accuse the Biden administration of weaponizing law enforcement resources against its political opponents.
You have here the Attorney General, who is going after President Biden's political rival, whose own personal career was derailed on the way to the Supreme Court by Donald Trump himself.
The preservation of documents is what triggered the search of Trump's home in the first place. FBI agents seized 11 sets of classified documents from the former president's home, some of which were labeled top secret. But Trump lawyers certified in June that all classified material had been returned from the estate. Trump claims he declassified those materials before he took them to Florida.
The statutes the Justice Department are asserting in the search warrant don't even require that they still be classified. If they would be damaging to national security, it's a problem. It's a major problem.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News that the most highly sensitive materials recovered from Mar-a-Lago likely contained information that could only be viewed in secure environments, as it probably dealt with intelligence gathering secrets.
Tensions over the search has led to concerns about retaliation from domestic violent extremists. A joint FBI and Department of Homeland Security bulletin warned of a plot to place a dirty bomb in front of FBI headquarters, as well as online posts calling for civil war and armed rebellion. The bulletin cited the attack from an armed man on the FBI office in Cincinnati. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Ricky Schiffer Jr., the man authorities say tried to breach the FBI office in Cincinnati, was shot dead last week after a standoff with law enforcement officers. Still ahead, a caution for parents and their kids.
Sounding the alarm on bike safety. I'm Elise Preston with why kids should always wear a helmet when biking.
Plus, a simple way to encourage flu vaccines. Those stories next in Health Watch. Text message reminder could help families stay safe during flu season. In a new study published in the journal Pediatrics, parents who receive alerts to schedule second shots for young children who need second doses of the flu vaccine were more likely to have their children fully vaccinated. Pregnancy complications increased during the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to researchers in Massachusetts. The healthcare disruptions during the first 14 months of the pandemic, doctors reported spikes in maternal deaths and cardiovascular disorders. The study authors say increased hygiene awareness, like hand washing and masking, likely helped contribute to a decline in sepsis rates for women giving birth. As students return to the classrooms, a new poll finds nearly a third of parents worry about their child's safety going to and from school. The University of Michigan survey shows more than a quarter of parents believe elementary and middle schoolers are more likely to get hurt in the drop-off area. Speeding, distracted driving, and children not staying on sidewalks are some of the issues fueling parents' concerns. Thousands of children end up in the emergency room every year with bike injuries. Well, now a new report from the American Academy of Pediatrics is stressing just how critical it is to wear helmets. Elise Preston has more.
4-year-old Harrison Fleming has been perfecting his two-wheeling all summer. His dad, Eric, makes sure he always wears a helmet.
We're lucky enough to live on a dead end here where there's not much traffic, but accidents can always happen.
Bicycle riding is one of the leading causes of sport-related head injuries in children. A new American Academy of Pediatrics report is highlighting the research that helmets significantly reduce risks of traumatic brain injury while bike riding or taking part in other sports.
Bicycle helmets are extremely effective in protecting head injuries. When you look at all that data together, about 90% of brain injuries can be prevented by wearing a helmet. But it's not just your brain. About 65% of facial injuries can be prevented.
Despite the evidence, one study shows only 42% of children always wear a bike helmet. 30% never wear one.
21 states and the District of Columbia have laws requiring children of certain ages to wear a helmet while biking.
I would sort of say treat it like a seatbelt. So insist that your child wear it every time. Also, try to make it fun. You can actually choose the helmet with your child.
Dr. Lois Lee is an ER physician at Boston Children's Hospital. She says the helmet should cover the forehead above the eyebrows, straps flat against the head with the divider under the ears, and only 2 fingers should fit between the chin and chin strap. Eric hopes Harrison will always choose to protect himself.
I hope he wears a helmet his entire life. I mean, I don't think there's an age limit on safety. High five.
Because it's better to be safe than sorry. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The AAP says children, teens, and their parents should always wear an appropriate and proper fitting helmet when biking, doing snow sports, ice skating, and equestrian sports. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the growing popularity of pickleball draws in a former NFL superstar.
Plus, thunderstorm chances back in the forecast. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, it turned out to be a hot one for us today. We hit 100 yesterday. We did it again today. This is our 22nd time this summer, which is crazy. That puts us top 6 hottest summers of all time, or at least top 6 that we've hit 100 degrees. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. It's actually been a decent day. We are getting a few isolated little tiny thunderstorms out there, but most of you are going to stay dry as we go through the evening hours. Pretty much clear skies, but look at this little cluster popping up eastern parts of Jasper County. So we got to keep our eyes on that as we go through the evening hours tonight, because we are going to get a few isolated thunderstorms. Now, most of you are going to stay dry, but there are going to be a few starting to pop up. All right, look at our temps. We hit 100 last Monday and then kind of hung into the 90s, and then the past couple days, 100 degrees once again. But it does look like we're going to be at least a little bit cooler this week, which is good news. Not the case right now. Upper 90s to near 100 degrees, 103 in Chanute, 102 in the other side, 103 in Yates Center. And you can see those cumulus clouds kind of bubbling up across the region. 99 south winds at about 15, humidities at 35%. Through the evening hours, we'll slide back through the 90s, 80s. Again, a few hit and miss storms on the Missouri side. And that's going to be just about it. And these are going to be very isolated, not a big cluster by any means. But you can see this guy just kind of popped up over the past 30 minutes or so. And a couple more over near Springfield, one just to the south of Branson. But it's just a moderate thunderstorm. So we're looking off 96 highway just east of Carthage near Avila, just to the north of Sarcoxy. Besides that, not a whole bunch going on. So most of you are going to stay dry as we go through the evening. And the better chances for rain are going to stay across southern Nebraska, northern Kansas, northern parts of Missouri tonight. But it's that wave, it's that system that's going to head toward us as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow, upping our chances for showers and thunderstorms. Any isolated thunderstorms out there this evening are gone here in a couple hours, and then we dip back into the lower 70s for overnight lows. You can see some scattered thunderstorms northern counties tomorrow morning, but again, most of you will stay dry. Here's 10:30 in the morning. These move out. We're going to heat up, most likely mid to upper 90s. There's going to be a big contrast. There's going to be 80s in our northern counties, near 100 in our southern counties. Look at the hit and miss storms getting going. So this is 2:33, 3:30 in the afternoon. Some of these storms could be strong to severe tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. The ones that do pop up will have the threat for gusty winds at about 60, 65 miles per hour, and then also some large hail. Scattered thunderstorms start to push out tomorrow evening, and then we'll get additional scattered thunderstorms, which will try to pop up tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. We need a little bit of rain, so this is going to be good. I think most of us on average will pick up quarter, half an inch, but there's going to be some areas that pick up a little bit more than that. Plus our temperatures are really going to cool down. 98 still tomorrow, but a high of only 80 on Wednesday, which is nice to say the least. 87 on Thursday. Kind of back into lower 90s on Friday. Another chance for rain heading into the weekend. But seeing 80 for a high looks refreshing.
Doesn't that sound nice?
Yeah, it sounds really
And
good.
as much as we need the cooler temps, we need the rain even more.
Do need the rain.
So
Yes.
hope we get that. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, Pickleball Mania. First, though, we honor a local World War II veteran. George Kovacini served in the U.S. Army, stationed in Europe with a railroad operating battalion in his hometown, Parsons, Kansas, and we are proud to salute George Kovacini, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Johnson & Johnson is planning to stop selling talc-based baby powder around the world in 2023. The company says it'll update its formula so the powder is made with cornstarch instead. Johnson & Johnson's maintained its product is safe, but it's also been at the center of lawsuits for years. Thousands of women who got ovarian cancer after using the regular talcum powder have sued the company. Johnson & Johnson's talc-based baby powder hasn't been sold in the U.S. or Canada since 2020. Saudi oil company Aramco says it saw a 90% surge in net profits for the second quarter of 2022 compared to the same time last year. The oil and gas company, which is nearly entirely state-owned, said the profits were driven primarily by higher crude oil prices and volume sold. It's the latest oil company to report massive or record-breaking profits this year, joining ExxonMobil, Chevron, and BP. 4 of the big cruise lines are dropping COVID vaccination requirements on a lot of trips. Carnival Cruise Line and Princess Cruises will no longer require guests to apply for a vaccination exemption for most trips fewer than 16 days. Royal Caribbean and Celebrity Cruises said they'll do the same on some of their trips. The cruise lines say they still have to abide by local regulations at ports outside the U.S. where they travel. Pickleball is one of the hottest sports in the country. According to the Sports and Fitness Industry Association, about 5 million people are playing. Marcy Gonzalez shows us why it's attracting so many players, including a former NFL quarterback.
Dinking and doubles are probably not the first terms that come to mind when you think of a Super Bowl MVP. But former New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees has traded the pigskin for a paddle and is now a pickler.
How long have you been playing?
Really, probably for about 1.5 years now, but I'd say that's really picking up now that I'm retired from football and need a new sport to occupy my time.
Brees is just one of the millions of Americans caught up in pickleball mania.
Anybody can play, no matter what your age or where you come from or your skill set or your athletic background.
The game is a mix of tennis and ping pong, played with paddles and a wiffle ball on roughly half a tennis court. First team to score 11 points wins. It's social, competitive, and accessible to pros and amateurs alike, men and women, young and old.
I'm working on my 88th year, but I'm only 87. And I'm out here just to keep active.
Brees isn't just in it for fun. The sport has gotten so big that he recently became part owner of a Major League Pickleball pro team.
What made you decide to get into team ownership?
Because it's a great opportunity to be a part of the growth of this sport.
2-2-1. Ho Win oversees an amateur pickleball club in Santa Monica, California, and has been playing for 3 years.
Would you say that it's really exploded, or how would you describe what you've seen?
Probably exploded is an understatement.
Great game, great combat.
Pickleball is a different vibe, and people are really friendly and inviting.
Yeah!
I'm hooked. I'm really hooked, and I would play every day if I could.
For CBS, I'm Marcy Gonzalez in Los Angeles.
Ring doorbell cameras. They have a knack for recording some of the most viral videos online. So Amazon, which owns Ring, has decided to take the best of them and create a new TV show that's being described as similar in concept to America's Funniest Home Videos. The half-hour show will be called Ring Videos. It'll be produced by MGM Studios, which is also owned by Amazon. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, it's back to school season, but what's being done to deal with the shortage of teachers nationwide? Then on KOAM News at 6, the latest on the investigation of a bomb explosion today in Parsons, Kansas. Plus, one person dies in a home explosion in southeast Missouri. And we're going to check out football practices for Pittsburgh and Frontenac High Schools. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. All right, we've all heard the excuse, the dog ate my homework. What about the dog ate my lottery ticket? It's what officials at the Oregon Lottery heard. They received a letter with a torn up ticket and a picture of 2 dogs. The couple says they left the ticket out and the puppies got to it. They knew that no one could check the ticket, but they thought it was kind of hilarious. They wanted to share the story. Turns out it was worth more than just a few laughs. They had an $8 winner on their hands. Dog chews up an $8 winner, you laugh. It chews up an $8 million winner.
Then you get a problem.
Yeah, you're not laughing, that's for sure. The weather, we have rain chances in the forecast and cooler temps.
We do. Some isolated thunderstorms this evening. These are mainly going to be on the Missouri side, and then most of the night looks pretty good. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. Some of those could be on the strong side, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that lasting into Wednesday morning, but actually turning quite a bit cooler by the middle of the work week.
That looks great. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.